above than progress. You do not need a spreadsheet to understand compound interest. In fact, relying on spreadsheets is often the reason people freeze up and do nothing.
Den Pacuas Kim was what set bone may be den Fidian statning ya. The cunning tea and Victor Junks Bitcoin.
I think I've got it. Yes, that's correct. Literally, while you are standing in line for coffee, it comes down to two magic numbers. The 72 in red and a heart, and the other with 114 in blue and a spade. 72 and 114. Divide 72 by your interest rate, and you know exactly when your money doubles. Yes! Look at this! It doubled! Oh wow, it doubled! Divide 114 by that same rate, and you know when it triples. That sounds simple, but the implications are terrifying if you are holding cash. And that's how Alex went from overflowing with cash to utterly bankrupt, proving once again, money can disappear faster than you think. Invest securely, and you'll always feel this confident and protected. Your assets are safe with us. Nail. At 8%, your money doubles in 9 years. At 3% inflation, your purchasing power gets cut in half in 24 years. Inflation. Seems like everything's going up except my savings.
That's a familiar feeling, Alex.
Just wish I had a plan. I need to figure this out. These rules turn abstract percentages into concrete timelines. The road is laid out before me. Time to build the future. Once you see the timeline, you cannot unsee the urgency. Here is the issue I see constantly. We are bad at thinking in percentages. The interest rate is currently at 8%. However, we anticipate a rise to 12% within the quarter. If I tell you an investment returns 8% and another returns 12%, your brain says, okay, one is a little bit better than the other. It feels like a linear difference. A 4% difference feels like 4 pennies on the dollar. It feels negligible. But compound interest is not linear. It is exponential. And the human brain is notoriously terrible at visualizing exponential growth. We evolved to understand linear threats, a lion running at us, not exponential threats like inflation eating our savings. Oh no! Look at the size of that thing! It's too fast! What am I gonna do? Oh no! It's eating everything! My savings! Or exponential opportunities, like dividend reinvestment. This is why we need shortcuts.
Welcome everyone, I'm Alex, and this book, Percent Time, is your guide to mastering productivity. Let's begin.
We need a translator that turns percentage yield into time. Time is the currency we actually understand.
Time is your most valuable asset. Invest it wisely and watch your future stack up. The time is now.
We are going to break down the rule of 72 for doubling, the rule of 114 for tripling.
All right, let's solve this together. 72 times 2 equals 104 to 4. Great job.
and the darker side of these rules that tells you exactly when you will go broke if you ignore them.
I'm hungry. What more?
Before we get into the mental math, I want to make a quick request. If you want to stop guessing about your financial future and start engineering it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Time to build our financial future. Let's do this. I don't sell courses, and I don't have a Discord group. I just want to make sure you are getting the best ROI on your time. And the best way to do that is to make sure you don't miss these breakdowns. All right, let's start with the most famous shortcut in finance. The Rule of 72.
Welcome, everyone. Let's talk about Rule 72, a powerful concept you need to know.
They are slow. Let's start with a pop quiz you can do in your head. If you have an investment paying you 10% a year, how long does it take to double your money? You see how these straight, parallel lines flow? That represents the linear thinking process of the mind, following one track at a time. I believe the correct answer is 10 years of experience. 10% times 10 years equals 100%, right? That is the simple interest trap. It is logical, it is clean, and it is completely wrong. Because money makes babies, and those babies make babies. That is compounding. If you wait 10 years at 10%, you haven't just doubled your money, you have actually more than doubled it technically. No, that's not how it works. No. But the math gets messy. We need a way to know the exact doubling point without pulling out a scientific calculator. Out with the old, in with the better. This is where the Rule of 72 comes in. It is the back of the napkin trick that wealthy people use to instantly assess a deal while everyone else is still looking for the calculator app on their phone. The pieces of the puzzle began to align in Alex's mind. All right, let's get this done. Calculating these complex problems requires a different approach. Here is the mechanics of the rule. You take the number 72. That is your constant. 7, 2. Got it. Got it. Thus, you divide it by your annual rate of return. The result is the number of years it takes to double your capital. The Rule of 72. Divide 72 by the annual interest rate. Let's run the numbers. If you are getting a 6% return, take 72 divided by 6. That gives you 12. Invest and see your 10,000 become 20. It's that simple. It takes 12 years to turn $10,000 into $20,000. Now, let's bump that return up to 8%. 72 divided by 8 is 9. Suddenly, you have shaved 3 whole years off your doubling time just by finding 2% more yield. If you manage to find a 12% return, 72 divided by 12 is 6. You are doubling every 6 years. Think about that for a second. At 12%, you double your money 4 times in 24 years. At 6%, you only double it twice in that same period. The difference isn't double the profit, it is exponential. Both gold and corn represent wealth, but each offers a unique path to growth. Consider your long-term goals carefully. This formula comes from the natural logarithm of 2, which is roughly 0.693. ln is defined as the natural logarithm of 2. It is an irrational number and holds significance in various mathematical contexts. But 72 is used because it is easily divisible by 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9. It is a number chosen for convenience, but it is startlingly accurate. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Alex, doubling is great, I love doubling. Alex had always dreamt of wealth. Now, through smart investments, he's doubled his fortune. He's celebrating this monumental achievement. But you need to pause, because this rule is a double-edged sword. If you have a credit card with a 24% interest rate, run the rule. Alex holds a large credit card. Considering the calculation, what is 72 divided by 24? After a moment of thought, he discovers the answer is 3. 72 divided by 24 is 3. That means every 3 years, the amount you owe to the bank doubles if you aren't paying it down. If you ignore a $10,000 debt for 6 years, it doesn't become $20,000. It becomes $40,000. The bank is using the rule of 72 against you. And this brings us to the most painful application of this rule, inflation. Most people ignore inflation because 3% sounds low. Don't fall for that trap. Let me show you why 3% is actually a financial disaster waiting to happen. We often hear central banks targeting 2 or 3% inflation. It sounds negligible. You might think, who cares if my coffee costs 3% more next year? That is pennies. $50? For a coffee? The cost of everything is just getting ridiculous. That is the linear brain getting tricked again. We tend to view inflation as a tiny tax we pay annually. I always thought of it like this.
but I'm just starting to realize how different it actually is.
We do not view it as a cumulative erosion of our life's work. But we should. If you are keeping your savings in a checking account earning 0% interest or under your mattress, you aren't preserving wealth. A piggy bank. Why isn't it growing? The graph says it should. You are actively losing it. The rule of 72 works in reverse here. Notice the rule applied in reverse, symbolizing the opposite effect. Instead of doubling your money, it tells you how long it takes for your money to lose half its value. We call this the halving time. It is the concept that keeps financial advisors up at night, and it is the reason you cannot just save your way to wealth. The time has come to double down and seize the moment. It's 8:30, and there is no room for hesitation. So, what is the protocol? You use the rule of 72 to set your hurdle rate. Your hurdle rate is the minimum return you need just to stay in the same place. The path to stability is never easy. If inflation is 4%, your investments must generate 4% after taxes just to maintain purchasing power. Anything above that is real growth. Anything below that is a slow bleed. When you look at a high-yield savings account offering 5% and inflation is 4%, you aren't making 5%, you are making 1%. Inflation might be taking a little off the top, but we've got you covered. The rule of 72 clarifies the battlefield. It stops you from celebrating nominal gains that are actually real-world losses.
All right, let's execute the plan. Full speed ahead. Victory is within our grasp.
You need to shift your mindset from making money to beating the halving time.
If you can double your money faster than inflation halves it, you win. If not, you lose. Womp, womp, womp. But let's stop playing defense. Let's stop worrying about just beating inflation and talk about actually getting rich. Because while doubling your money is good, tripling your money is where the magic happens. Most people stop at the rule of 72. They calculate the double and they are happy. But the wealthy don't just want to double. They want to know when